So you've worked with corporations both big and small. Can you tell us maybe some of the differences between working for a really big corporation versus working for yourself? I mean, is there financial and creative differences? I assume there are pros and cons for both.
There's definitely pros and cons. Excuse me. Yeah, I really did get tired of working on certain teams and certain companies I've worked for where you can really kind of just almost see the creativity and the fun getting ground between the gears of just money and marketing and financial concerns and people who don't really care about making a game that people actually enjoy. They are just care about hitting some stock number or something like that. When you get in a big enough company, that's all it's really about is are we putting out a product this quarter and can we say that to the shareholders and things like that. It's not really about is this a great product that people will enjoy for years and things like that. Other companies we work for, like Blizzard, are fine to make sacrifices for quality and are great. But anyway, that can be a very demoralizing part of working for big companies, I'd say. And of course, one reason to work on the side projects for me is almost to stay sane and just have a project where it's just all about the fun and the creativity and working with friends. Sometimes you can get that on the small teams that I worked on with in mobile and social games. But yeah, that's probably the biggest difference. I mean, creativity is important to me, and a creative industry, I guess they all have this the kind of frustrations of it has to all be about the money in the end, and I try to remember that. Working for big companies, I'm very glad that I worked in the industry and for big companies for a long time before going to this sort of thing. Just there's a ton to learn. You can work with incredibly talented people. The obvious pros are also money, that you can get a stable salary and a stable set of benefits. Although I would warn people that in the games industry, stability is relative. I work for some pretty big companies that turn out not to be so stable. I'm thinking Midway here specifically. But it's an interesting industry to work in. But yeah, I've worked with some incredible people at these big companies and learned a ton that you can absolutely apply to even if your ultimate goal is to go and make your own games and indie ventures like what I'm doing now. Yeah, the industry is a great place to work.
So would you suggest that indie devs starting out to maybe like start at the bigger companies and then decide if they want to strike out on their own or try and do it on their own and get a portfolio and move up?
Yeah, I would say if you can get your foot in the door, which is the challenge in the games industry, but absolutely, I think it's great to get that experience, even if you think what you want to do is just your own thing and your own vision. I think that kind of experience is invaluable of seeing how it's done by the big companies. Sometimes you have to unlearn a certain amount of what you learn from them in terms of the big company practices. It's sometimes the best thing about working on your own is that you can drop a lot of them. Anyway, I'd absolutely say that someone should start there if they can. It can be a challenge to get your foot in the door, but it's a rewarding place to work.